Yeah, so I'm interested in doing a courtyard mission that isn't like the big I need an invitation whatever to go. Though I think I do have an invitation to go see the Viscount. I don't really need to do that yet though. I want to try this Gather the Blood quest. The cursed heroes shake, whinge, and plead for more blood. This accursed fluid can only be found reliably in the courtyard. Seek crates marked for the winemaker's reserve. So I guess this is going to be to collect more blood? Gross. And it's as good a way to train lower level characters as any, I'm sure. So, how about we make a team here? Make our lower level team. Do I want to bring Azulio? Azulio is already got the curse, and I'm sure there's other things here that give someone the curse. So that's probably a good idea. Also think I'm going to bring Hedia Bodan as our trusted healer. Tactic, is that too much stress on you right now, Tactic, for you to take this mission? I'm not sure if it is or not. Well, Tactic went last week, so Dr. Queen's gonna come this week. And finally, yeah, I think it seems like a good idea. We're gonna bring Green, one of our other level 1s, into the courtyard here. Let's do some trinkets. So not all around sure what to expect while I'm here. Bring some food. I actually did not bring my fasting seal this time around. Also, I just remembered that torches work differently here in the courtyard, so I probably didn't need to pack quite as many. Take an extra anti-venom, take a couple bandages. Good enough. Let's see what's going on in here. I don't have very good scouting right now. None of my characters are great scouts, so I'm probably not going to... Eating bananas is a surefire way to get swarmed by mosquitoes. Really? Is that a game mechanic, or is that just general advice? I never noticed that before. That's a very funny loading screen. Okay, so we're activating 3 winemakers reserves, which I think are supposed to give us blood. It will be nice to have a way to... it will be nice to have some, like, extra blood on reserve, I guess. The burbling fountain spews crimson ichor. No, that's not what you want to happen. This isn't necessarily what you want to happen either, but I can take on some carrion eaters, it's fine. So they have a blight resistance of a 100, which is unfortunate, but a lower bleed resistance, so that would still only be a 40% chance to get bleed on them. Where it would be a 60% chance to stun one of them, so I guess I'm gonna go for a stun. Yeah, that seems like the best use of Dr. Queen's time there. Let's try and stun another one, too. Okay, not as lucky that time. So we're gonna throw some daggers. And do any of these do extra... Yes, this does extra damage versus stun, so I might be able to get a quick kill right there, and I did. So that's kind of interesting, because the idea of a stun is that it saves you time. It means that their next turn isn't going to actually happen. But with that ability that does extra damage against stunned, it kind of inspires you to not take full advantage of that stun. So rather than stalling out, you're going for a quicker kill. Just interesting to me, I guess. Like there, I probably should have gone with a kill instead of a really lackluster heal, but turned out to be not so bad. Yeah, Hedia is going to be all we need, I think, for keeping everybody healthy. I guess I'll increase your dodge and speed. You don't have a great way to hit the first rank, but Azulio does.
Surges as the enemy crumbles.
So yeah, that'll work. That is... Wow, only 200. But portraits are worth a lot, so... That's fine. Let's use the torch to get that buff. Haven't seen any winemakers whatchamacallits yet. Oh, I didn't even know what was happening. I just saw a prompt and I clicked it. Yeah, so that's the mist that if you don't use a torch on it, it'll teleport you somewhere else. Yeah, I should probably stop doing that. Every time I do that, I just end up bleeding, but I don't know what to use on those. Ooh. Look at that nice, clear, red pond underneath. Alright, so eating some food. Now, what's probably going to happen from this mission is I'm probably going to get more characters with the curse. So, I don't know how happy I'll actually be to have taken this mission. But if I could just get some experience, that will be good. So last episode was kind of a shorter episode. This one might also be a shorter episode, but I've realized 20 minutes is usually the minimum length I try to go for a video, and I don't really like them to go over 30 minutes. They almost always do, but if I had things my way, every episode would be 20 to 30 just because I think that's, like, the best way to mitigate people's attention spans for that period of time. 20 to 30 is like a fair amount of time for somebody to watch a Let's Play episode. And if they have, you know, if they're interested enough to keep watching, I like to think my Let's Plays are very bingeable because I present them in a shotgun fashion. I try to get them out so quickly. Some of these videos have been coming out less quickly, especially the Pokemon one. Forgotten Delicacies. Huh. Yeah, Azulio, I'm really, putting you through your paces, making you check all of this stuff. Let's have Green deal with this thing. And, okay, Winemaker's Reserve. Activate. And that is our first one activated. So, we're going to leave this mission with a crap ton of blood. That's what's going to happen. And here's the second one here. Thought there'd be a battle, but no, it was just the Curio. 2 down. So yeah, the last episode was just long enough to, you know, see a mission and recommend 1776. I like recommending musicals to people. I know probably not all of you are into musicals, so that's really like a niche thing to talk about. But I've been kind of getting back into musicals lately. It's always been like a really big thing in my life that I like musicals, but I don't know, something made me think about them more again lately. I guess it's because... I guess it started with that there's this new Aladdin that came out, and that got me listening to songs from the old Aladdin and also the Broadway version of Aladdin, and that just kind of was my gateway back into musicals. I wrote a top 50 musicals once. Like, I didn't write it to be a video, I just, like, wrote out what my top 50 musicals would be. I think a long time ago, I did, like, a note on Facebook about my top 50 and why, though that list would have changed a lot by now, but I should try and dig that out. But yeah, I know I've talked about Sondheim before. Sondheim being my favorite composer, and he writes a lot of the best, just the best, in my opinion, musicals and show tunes. I like how lyrically complex his compositions are. I like him a lot as a composer. I love him as a lyricist. What's going on here?
So too will resistance.
There's a big exclamation point over that. I guess because it's a trinket that I've never had before? Is that why I got such a big exclamation point there? Alright, is anybody stressed out enough that they want to burn this? Not really, but I'll do so anyway. And... got another... Oh, it says quest location, so this is actually the last one here. Very good. That's a completed mission, but let's look at the rest of these rooms. As far as musicals that have movie versions that are easy for you to see, because getting out to see... I mean, seeing Broadway shows is just impossible. The biggest problem with high-end theater is how inaccessible it is right now. We went to see Harry Potter, as you know, and we only got the chance to do that because 3 of our friends pulled money together and got us tickets as our wedding gift. But that must have been so much money for those. It's not... For what's one afternoon, you know, you're spending the price of, like... maybe even, like, what you'd spend on 5 video games, each of which could last you, like, 40 hours, maybe. It's really hard to justify going out to see a show, even if you do really like Hamilton. I haven't seen Hamilton. I have listened to the soundtrack of Hamilton. I like it a lot. I actually don't like it as much as Lin-Manuel Miranda's other show, In the Heights. But I do like it. I think because it's so popular, I get a little bit more critical of Hamilton, but, you know, there's a reason why it's so emotionally resonant, and it's because Lin-Manuel Miranda is really good at writing emotional pieces, and he's really good at writing rap that also, like, says a lot. There's this weird stigma that, you know, rap is punk music. I feel like I can hear my parents saying that while I say it, and that's very... I don't know, that's very limiting. I know some people just get angry at the idea of rap being used to tell the story of the American Founding Fathers because it's anachronistic. Like, yes, of course it's anachronistic. Like, they know. Trust me, they know that there wasn't rap, and they know that the Founding Fathers weren't from the Caribbean, except that Hamilton totally was from the Caribbean. Look it up. You know, some people think it's like weird revisionist history to, and this gets into a bigger question of like recasting classic characters with black actors or Hispanic or Asian actors or whatever. Like, you know, in the like Marvel movies, you got like Heimdall and, well, now this version of MJ, even though it's not literally Mary Jane Watson, it is MJ. And that's a really big topic that I don't really want to get into right now because it is so off topic from what I'm saying. If I was going to summarize it, it would be, I don't generally care as long as they give a good performance. There are, like, exceptions here and there that have, like, where I think, like, maybe something's a little bit lost by them not being, you know, a certain race. But, so here's the thing, and I'll keep using Hamilton for an example. They are not trying to say that,
Ancient traps lie in wait.
Did my trap activate an enemy? I was even trying to disarm it, and I accidentally inched forward too much. Okay, it's just one enemy, I can deal with him. They're not trying to say that Hamilton and Burr looked like that. They're not trying to rewrite history with non-whites. The real reason why there's so many Hispanic actors in the original run of Hamilton is because it's by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and he wanted to be in it, and he got a bunch of his buds to do it. And he worked with the people that he knew. It's the entertainment industry, it happens. And also because it's so much rap music, and you just tend to find better rappers of that background, because those cultures tend to have, like, that music more, socio-historically. It's not a big deal. But it's not like they're saying, you know, oh, yeah, George Washington was actually Cuban or anything like that. They're not trying to trick you. They're not trying to rewrite history. You are watching Hamilton through the lens of this presentation. The same way that you accept that, like, oh, this story didn't really take place on a stage with a bunch of people ignoring that there were 200 patrons watching them quietly. Like, you know that it's not really... There wasn't really a proscenium arch around them. Their house probably didn't have all of its doors on one side and an open fourth wall. The same way you accept that, you accept that this actor is playing this character. It is not to say that what they look like was what that character was. They're stepping into the shoes of a role. This is less of a thing in a movie, because in a movie you have a lot more control of what all your people look like, so movies tend to be less representational for that. But the fact of the matter is, Lin-Manuel Miranda read a biography on Alexander Hamilton and was super inspired by his story and wanted to retell it and wanted to make it work. And Lin-Manuel Miranda, more than anything else, writes rap music. That is his talent, that's what he's good with, that is the brush he has to paint with. So that's what you're seeing when you're seeing Hamilton. You're seeing him tell a story that he cares a lot about in the best genre that he knows how. And it's a weird combination, and that's kind of part of why it got so popular, just for the novelty of it. But it's more than just novelty. I'd personally say it's pretty darn good. Again, it's not my favorite show. Like, if I'm being critical, I don't like how many songs in Hamilton, like, repeat the same phrase over and over again, just, like, building the music behind it. I think that's, like, kind of narratively cheap. Like, just an example, the one song they'll be saying, in New York you can be a new man, in New York you can be a new man, in New York you can be, like, that's like when a level designer just, like, puts a bunch of really narrow platforms and calls it a platforming level. Like, that's, I don't know, that's cheating. But there is, like, musical progression, at least, that's making it get stronger. You know, there is still theory behind it. I just find it a little bit creatively lazy just for how many songs utilize that. That is one thing I don't like about Hamilton. And that's a problem that I don't think is as present in In the Heights. If you're a fan of Hamilton, definitely look up the soundtrack to In the Heights. You can find the whole thing on YouTube. You can download it off of YouTube. It's probably on Pandora and Spotify and that stuff. I don't use those kinds of music apps because I'm an old man who doesn't understand how technology works. Okay, we got Mediator, and we got our level 3 Bounty Hunter back. Good job, Azulio. Eldritch Slayer and Hedia Bodon becomes level 3. Dr. Queen's still level 2 and Green's still level 1, but Green gets Unyielding, and Dr. Queen gets Twilight Dreamer. Ooh, ignores Stealth! Ah, interesting. I really like that one a lot. Also, I like that those were all positive quirks.
All the decadent horrors I have seen pale in comparison to that final crowning thing.
Okay, so
I could not look, nor could I look away.
Okay, so the Fanatic is back on the board. I didn't know he was ever gone, actually. I thought he was just not showing up because I didn't have any. But I guess when you clear the Crimson Curse, it also clears the Fanatic off the board. He only shows up when you're going on missions with cursed heroes. But okay, so now there's a chance of him showing up again on a mission where I bring cursed heroes, unless it is a boss mission. He will not show up on a mission that already has a boss character in it. The more cursed heroes you bring along, the more likely he is to show up, and the higher difficulty level of the mission, I think, the more powerful he is, or maybe he's just always powerful and it's like impossible to deal with him with anything below veteran characters. But speaking of veteran characters, Jalari level 6! Way to go, man. And also, I didn't forget about Victor. I forgot where you were, Victor, but I didn't forget about you. Level 3, Victor. Pretty nice, pretty nice. So, what are we gonna do for next week? I gotta level up in the courtyard. What does it mean as I level up the courtyard? Are there other bosses? Are there other things that can happen there? I'm not sure. But actually, now that Victor's leveled up to level 3, I want to bring him on my next mission against the Swine King. So that's going to be for next week. Let me just sort by level here. Yeah, so Victor, come along with me through the butterflies and bees. And Hetty, I'll give you a break, but I think I'll want, yeah, George to come along on that mission too, and then I'll want 2 characters that can hit real hard. Perhaps, yeah, Glowstick might be good for protection, and what other hard-hitting level 4 character do I want to bring along? Oh yeah, Darius. Darius, long time no see, buddy. Okay, so this will be my team for next time. Look forward to it. Is there anybody who needs to go to the infirmary? Yeah, I guess let's get Ramona in there. And Hedia, now that you're taking a week off, I'm gonna treat your lethargy. Alright. Thank you for joining me on some lower level missions. I like slowly leveling up these lower level characters. I should take them on longer missions because then they'll level up more, but I've kind of just had to take what I can get. Oh, it looks like I can do this mission whenever I want to just collect more blood. I think this wine mission might always be here. And I think the game's responding to how few level 2 or lower characters I have because it's presenting me with less apprentice level missions. But that's fine. Next time, the Swine King. I'm the Comic Foil. Have yourself a great night.